basically let her know, this is what I'm going to do to you, and I'm going to hold you down. Because if you look around, these are dead people, and this can happen to you. You see?
Oh my gosh. Whew.
So a lot of times, these monsters will use their power against these young victims or older victims. It's just like being
Well,
in
you hit the
this
nail on the
situation.
head. Yeah, I mean, it's that power differential. It's the manipulation. It's the coercion. Those are the ways
Right.
that we can really recognize that.
Right.
So it isn't even the age. Like when we talk about sibling sexual abuse, you can't get caught up in age numbers. It's
It happens
the
to
power
everyone.
differential. Yeah, and the manipulation, the coercion are biggies.
And what do? Because you're so afraid, right? You're
Yeah.
so afraid because you don't know like what they are really capable of. And there are so many that are capable who have gone back and hurt people, killed people, have killed people. It's sad. It's sad, but we need a platform. The world needs a platform for survivors and for children that are going through it, because right now, as we speak, there are probably hundreds of children being molested as we speak.
In every
and
community.
Adults.
Yeah, I mean, in every town, every community, wherever you go. So this isn't just some big city problem.
No.
It's like, and that's what it's frustrating trying to get people to understand. It's like this is in each of our communities and should be near the top from our, media coverage, from our local politicians, our state politicians, our national politicians. What are we doing to get funding, for these families, particularly ones that don't have access to healthcare and to treatment? What are we doing to break down those barriers? What are we doing to pass legislation to be able to do that?
Right.
Because treatment is what's needed, and parent education, because parents are the ones like what you were talking about, is they're the ones that you've got to be clued in and say, okay, I recognize these things, in Johnny or Susie, and this is how, we train them on, this is how you speak, this is how you go to them, these are you need to, like what you're talking about, allow them to speak as much as what they need to get it out, but having that kind of relationship where they feel safe with you. And then you got to act.
I mean, it's sad because it's been going on forever, and no one has a big enough platform to go on. And I think that's my goal I'm trying to get at, is that if I see so many big platforms that people follow every day, and a lot of the people that follow these different platforms are victims, right?
Yeah.
And even if they never say a word, they can hear and listen.
That's right.
And have some type of hope in their heart that I too, I'm not alone. Because sometimes it's about knowing you're not alone, right? And so that's why I think it needs to be a really, really big platform started, so that not just, I think, dang near a whole television station for me, for these people, or just adults, for kids, because it needs to stop. It's my fear is always there's a child or an adult going through what I went through or worse. Like I always say, my story is bad, but there's someone that is going through something worse than what I went through, right? I don't just look at what I went through like, oh, this is the worst that a victim can ever go through. Any type of abuse is bad. Someone could just touch you, and that is bad. That is abuse. So I want to create the biggest platform I can possibly create, and so that men, women, boys, girls, kids that are currently being sexually assaulted can speak up.
Yeah.
It's a look. Teachers, football coaches, basketball coaches, people, we see them. We see these kids every day. We see adults every day who have been victimized either the day before, the week before, when they were kids, when they were teenagers. It happens to everyone, and that's the sad thing about it. But I think it needs to be laws passed, help for these victims, like you said. It needs to be more done. This was being done because we're just like skeletons. People just, okay. Like the Me Too movement was big, but it needs to be bigger.
Yeah.
Bigger than that. And that was a big movement.
Yeah.
But it has gotten very quiet, very quiet.
It's funny how that happens. There's attention will just go away. But in the meantime, like the way I look at it, like what I try and do is, I will speak anywhere, anytime that I can about sibling sexual abuse.
Right.
And just sound that horn, sound that horn, sound that horn. And hopefully at some point, we'll get more attention, but in our communities. But you said exactly how I feel. To me, it's all about giving people hope.
Right.
That's what
that's
my
what,
goal.
And that's what we need. That's what we need. And it's like, I know what I go through, but there's so many people going through the same thing, if not worse. And you want to give people hope that they can just, if they can just come on a platform and share their story.
Yeah.
Without no judgment.
That's right.
No one seeing their face.
They just feel love and support.
Right. That's going to help. That's going to help them. I mean, some people can't even talk about it, but if a caller comes on and you say, okay, do you want to share your face? No. Okay. You want your voice distorted? Yes. I mean, I think that's important because then they can tell their story. I don't care how it starts. I want people to get their stories out and be okay and feel some type of relief and know that there's so much help out there that they can get. They just need to know that people
if we can
care.
get more, we can get more of these families knowing that there is help, there is support, where they'll act, appropriately when they know how to do it,
Right.
and they're, look, that this is in the best interest of your family going forward, of everybody, whether it's a offending sibling, whether it's certainly the survivor, which needs to come first, everybody, and so they need to know, and we need to talk about it in order for people to know and to feel comfortable in taking the appropriate actions.